Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about how to configure a switch. So I've done a couple other videos, done some videos on how to configure LACP Ether channel, done a video on how to remotely, not remotely, but actually to wipe a switch with the little button that's on the front. So today I'd like to talk to you about how to configure a switch. So if you're new to the game, what do you do, right? So you got this switch in front of you. You know, how do you connect to it? What do you do? So first of all, you'll need to buy a console cable, right? So a Cisco console cable, and you can get off-brand. Typically they work, but Cisco will recommend you get their Cisco console cable, and I'll put a link in the description to a Cisco console cable that should work just fine for you. But basically you'll want to get one of those, and you may need a USB to serial adapter. I'll put a link to one of those as well. Because a lot of times computers just don't have serial cables anymore. So once you get that established, you've got your console cable, your USB to serial adapter, you've got it plugged in, then what do? So like on my computer, you've got to have some kind of terminal emulation program, like PuTTY, for instance. I'm not sponsored by PuTTY in any way. I'm just a program I use. A lot of people use PuTTY. You can use, really want to, HyperTerminal back in the day. Not a lot of people do that, but PuTTY's a pretty good option. So what you want to do is configure this to serial, but then, you know, if you're plugged directly in with the serial connection, you're probably on COM 1. But like my PC, I'm on COM 3 because that's my first USB port. And typically, if you don't have any other COM ports, that's what you're going to be on. You're going to be on COM 3. So once you've connected to the switch, you know, here, enable, let's just do a show running config. There's really not anything here. This switch was just wiped a few minutes ago. And this is actually the same switch I wiped in a previous video. But you can see there's nothing. You know, no access here, no usernames, no nothing. So so I'm just going to try to go through a few of the things that I would typically configure here. So one of the first things I would do is I would say, you know, where is this switch going to be? Is this going to be an access switch? Is it going to be a distribution switch? If it's a core switch, you probably already know what you're doing here. Even distribution switch, you should know. If not, then I'm going to make some other videos on how to configure some of those switches coming in the future. But so right here, I would say, you know, what's this going to be? Is this going to be, you know, like, am I going to be making an accounting switch, you know, for all the people in accounting? So you want to set your host name to something descriptive. So you want to go into configuration terminal, go to host name, and then just specify a string of characters. We'll just call this accounting switch 1. And if you want to put like 2960X-24 port, you know, oops, oh yeah, can't do #. So, you know, if you want to do that on 29, yeah, let's do this. Let's do ACCT-switch-2960-1, right? So, you know, it's accounting, it's a switch, and that may not make a lot of sense because you know it's a switch, but say 2 or 3 years down the road, maybe you're no longer there. You probably don't care, but whoever else is there, gonna go, you know, PuTTY to this device that they see on the network. They don't know what it is immediately. Maybe they can't get into it, but they know by the host name that it's a switch. So you don't even have to do switch spelled out. You could just do like SW-ACCT. There you go. Then you know it's a switch. It's an accounting. It's the model, and it's number 1. Maybe it's number 1 of, you know, maybe it's number 3 in a stack. So anyway, very important to know, for you to know where your switch is located. Alright, so the next thing is IP address. So, you know, initially you've got to know, you need to know what you're going to put for an IP. So typically people have a management network they'll set up, and a lot of times that's the data VLAN is what people typically do. So you want to look to see if you've got a management network. Just specify. I'm going to do. Actually, let's before we talk about that, let's do VLANs. So if you don't know what VLAN is, a VLAN is a segregation of networks virtually. It basically limits broadcast domains so that, you know, traffic can't talk to each other. They can, but typically what you want to do, since you've got that, you want to limit your broadcast domain. That way you don't have a bunch of different devices talking through multicast between each other. So it's always a good idea, if you have more than 255 devices on the network, then you want to segregate those and separate those into different networks. So I'm going to create 3 networks, and you'll see, or 4 networks here in just a second. So we'll call VLAN 10. So that's just the VLAN. So I'm going to say name data, and I'll do 20 name voice, VLAN 30 name MGMT management. Now I want to do a VLAN 100, and I want to say name native VLAN. I'll explain that in just a minute. So you've got your VLAN 10 is data, 20 is voice, 30 is management, and 100 is native VLAN. Alright, so then let's say typically you want to have your VLAN IP addresses match up with your VLAN names or VLAN IDs. So let's do interface VLAN 30, because that's the management network, and let's do IP address 92.168.30 dot. Let's do something. Let's do .2. Maybe you have .1 as your router, as your core switch. And let's do a /24. So 255.255.255.0, and let's do your default gateway as .1. All right. Oh, why did I do that? I don't need to do default gateway. I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry. Got routing on my mind. So you want to set your IP address there, and then you want to do a no shut on that interface. Okay, so let's exit. Actually, let's go back in there. Oops. Do interface VLAN 30. Let's do a description on that, because I hate interfaces without description. So let's do description. ACCT-2960-3 management network. Alright, so that's that. So let's also define an uplink. So let's do 24 interface gig 0024. Actually, it might be 24. So don't know what they are off the top of my head. Okay, 1024. So to do that, just do a show IP interface brief, and that will tell you all the interfaces. So if I do that again, scroll down so you can see the VLAN that I made, VLAN 30, and you can see VLAN 1 is unassigned and shut down. Keep that way. Do not turn that one back up. Turn that one up. So let's go into gigabit interface 1024. And let's do a description uplink to core. So let's just say that goes directly to the core switch. maybe you're in your corporate office and you need to uplink directly to your core switch. So now that you've got your description set on your core interface uplink, so you want to make that one since you're going switch to switch. People do access ports, but that's really a bad idea, and you can't do that if you have more than one VLAN. So in this case, we want to do this right. Trunk these VLANs. So let's do switch port, mode, trunk, switch port, trunk, allowed, VLAN 10, 20, 30, and yep, switch port, trunk, native VLAN 100. So that's where the native VLAN 100 comes into play. So I'll show you that here in just a second. So 30 will have no IP addresses for VLAN 30. So we'll go into, let's do an interface range. So yeah. Let's do interface range gig 101 through 23. So ports 1 through 23, and we've already used port 24. So let's do, just first of all, description. So let's do PC and PC phone, for instance. So that way you know that you've got PCs and phones. So your VLAN 10 is your data, your VLAN 20 is your phone. So 20 is for your phone network. So you want to do switch port, mode, access, right? Because it's an access port. PCs are just plugged directly into the access port. Then you do switch port, access, VLAN 10, right? So that gives them access to VLAN 10 on that port. So then you say, great, the phone's plugged into the switch and the PC is plugged into the phone. How's that going to work when your phone's on VLAN 10? Cisco made this great thing. Switch port, switch port voice, VLAN 20, boom, right there, right? So then that now says, great, VLAN 10, if it's just a PC and if it detects a phone, it uses 20 as the voice VLAN and then tags port 10 off of the port on the phone. So that phone pulls that information down from the switch, so it knows what to use. Then you want to save. So do right, saves that configuration there. Now let's just go look at it. Show run, right? All right. So what have we missed here? We've got all of our interfaces. No gig. All these ports are done. They're all configured. We've got 24. We've got description set. What have we missed? We got our management IP address. What have we missed? Well, there's a lot that we've missed. So let's see. We didn't create a username. So how are you gonna connect to the switch if you don't have a username configured? So let's go into configuration terminal again. Let's do a username. Let's just do admin privilege 15. So 15 is the highest privilege. So you can do actually specify privileges. You do like privilege 7, right? And then whatever you want. So 15 is the highest. Privilege 7, and then you want to do secret, right? So privilege secret password. So this next calls for a string, basically. So secret, I'll show you here. And then, I'm sorry. Yeah, 5 will be, oops. So now let's just look at it. Let's see if it's in plain text. Yeah, I didn't think so. So it's very strange the way it says it. So it says if you do secret, and then if you say the unencrypted user will it makes it seem like the where it says line, the unencrypted user secret will follow, and this one says you know, like 5. It makes you seem like 5 would be the one to encrypt it. You want MD5. Yeah, it makes you think that you definitely want 5, but really, you just specify this right here, right? Specify username, admin, privilege, or it doesn't have to be admin. It could be username, you know, cookies. Let's just do that. Username, cookies, privilege, 15, secret, cream. All right, so let's just do show run. Boom. You can see the hashes are different because they're different passwords. So, and that's one thing. So be careful about this. So if you have 2 accounts on there, and you want to use the same password, you'll have the same hash, or not. Thought you would. Did I save that? I don't know, I've seen that before. Maybe it was type 7. So that's the other thing. So if you just do, yeah, so I was definitely wrong about that. So I guess they can be the different hashes, but if you do a type 7, they can be the same hash, which is the Cisco type 7. Be very careful about that. So username, Cisco, privilege 15, password 7. Let's do password 123. So username Cisco, privilege 15, password 7. 7 is the type. Password 123. That's your password. All right. What? Hidden username. Oh, I'm sorry. Password 0. Password 123. Okay. So now do show run. Okay, so you see that password here. That password is unencrypted, right? So back in the day, you just did a show or a service password encryption. Service password encryption, right? Turn that guy on. Do show run again, right? And it looks like it's encrypted, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you just how easy this is. Cisco type 7 password decryptor. I can type. I can't even type. Just do this guy right here, right? Type that guy in, submit. Your password's password 123. It's that easy. So be very careful. Don't do that. Just do no username Cisco. Yes. So do show run. So just do the username admin privilege 15 secret 5. That's right. Yep. Nope. Secret. You don't have to do secret 5. Do secret like test 1 2 3. There you go. That will make that an MD5 hash. Then it'll be not impossible, but a lot easier to finish, or I'm sorry, a lot easier to protect than just doing a type 7 password. So now that you've got that right, so then how do you SSH to it? So instead of use your PuTTY terminal to console, how do you actually SSH or telnet to it? So if you don't know the difference between telnet and SSH, telnet sends everything in clear text. So when you do the show run, all of this configuration is all in clear text. When you send your passwords in clear text, or send your passwords across, that's all clear text. So you want to do SSH where you can. So in order to do that, you have to specify a few things to do SSH. So you want to specify hostname, you specify domain name, so IP domain name. Let's do test. Let's do ultimate network administration .local. Alright, so now you got to generate keys. So Yep. So then you want. So yeah, I messed up a little bit. So you definitely don't do generate. You do crypto key generate, and then you get an option. So the EC, or most of the time people just do RSA general keys, modulus, and then you want to do the modulus. Most people just do 1024. Used to 2048 was this, but it hurts absolutely nothing to do the highest bit key, 4096. So it takes a couple minutes longer. That's really the only difference, but you'll see here in just a second it's pretty fast. I mean, it's within like 30 seconds to generate those keys. 1024 is like an instant. 2048 is like 10 seconds, but 4096 is really not that long at all. So once you generate those keys, then you'll be able to enable SSH, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a second once this finishes. But really, this is pretty much done. We've walked through how to configure, the host name for the switch, IP addresses, VLANs, native VLANs management, data network, voice network, management network. You specify an uplink trunk, what you specify there. One thing about the trunk you need to be careful of is spanning tree, because if you've got BPDU guard enabled, like default on switches, then you may run into problems to where if you uplink this switch to your core, well, it very well might, see, there you go, SSH is enabled, very well might block your uplink. So a lot of times what you want to do is go into the interface. Let's just do this, configure interface gig 1024. Let's just do a BPDU guard. What? What the? Oh, spanning. Man, it's been a while. BPDU guard disabled. Right. So that way on that interface, do show run enter gig 1024. Just on that switch, you've got spanning tree BPDU guard disabled. So do show spanning tree interface gig 1024. So of course there's not going to be anything on there because it's not live right now, but spanning tree summary. So that's the only other thing. We haven't specified any of these global commands. I'll get into that in another video. That's more than this video's probably going to cover. But this is going to get you most of the way. You want to specify, make sure your spanning tree version is the same. On newer, everybody's pretty much using PV RSTP, per VLAN spanning tree, or per VLAN rapid spanning tree protocol. So that's pretty much the standard these days. If you don't have a Cisco switch network and you're throwing this one into like an Alcatel or a HP network, then you want to be careful of that and be very mindful of what version of spanning tree that you are running, because you can certainly mess up a network pretty fast. So just be very mindful of that. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Actually, here, one more thing. We forgot to configure the VTY lines. So go into configuration terminal. We'll just do a line VTY. First of all, you got 0 and a 4. I don't know why it's not listed there. You want to do input SSH. What? Man. What is up here? Well, first of all, you want to do login local. You have to do that because you're logging into a local account, so like your admin, instead of having AAA authentication enabled. But just on this one we don't.